God, you know, the problem with doing a YouTube show that can get fairly topical is that when the world shuts down, you eventually run out of things to talk about. So let's talk about Wonder Woman's stupid golden eagle armor and why it's freaking great. I've said before on this channel that I think one of the most important aspects of any superhero is the way they look. The overall design aesthetic of any given superhero from comics is so important to a character's identity that to change it in any way runs the risk of turning that character into a completely different one. Now granted, not every character automatically gets an instantly iconic look right out the gate. Some characters spend years going from costume to costume until they land on one that's right for them. Some even have to wait for the movie version to come out in order for them to get an instantly recognizable look. But that's why I think it's so important for superhero costumes in movies to be done right. Now I know in most cases doing a direct one-to-one translation of what's on page to the screen isn't possible, but for the most part, as long as you get all the basic elements in there, you can make a worthwhile experience on screen. If nothing else, even if the story sucks, getting the costume right goes a long way. Like seeing Batman in an all-black costume doesn't really bother me because most of the other elements of his overall look are still there. The cowl with the pointy ears, the cape with the scallops in it, the utility belt, hell, even the gauntlet with the fins. It's all there, and it never made me miss the fact that he's never been blue and gray in the movies. Hell, even the original X-Men movie costumes never really bother me. Would I have preferred something closer to the Jim Lee designs from the early 90s? Well, sure, but these outfits did work for the time. It did give off a sense that the X-Men were a team and this was their team's uniform. It quickly became dated as soon as Sam Raimi's Spider-Man came out, but what we got at the time worked overall. Have there been bad superhero costumes in movies? Of course. The 2015 Fantastic Four costumes straight up suck, much like everything else with that film. The Dark Phoenix X-Men costumes are straight up terrible. The Amazing Spider-Man costume, the first Amazing Spider-Man, is a really interesting case. It looks like a Spider-Man costume, but there are enough subtle changes and differences to it to just make it feel overall wrong. The yellow eyes, the lack of a belt down below, even the overall basketball-like texture to it. It's no wonder that for Amazing Spider-Man 2, they went right back to the traditional classic look. Hell, one of the reasons why I think everybody craps on Hawkeye in the movies is because his costumes have always been terrible. The MCU has some of the best superhero costumes ever seen in a movie, but Hawkeye is always stuck with some weird dark purple or black tactical gear that just looks boring. I mean, okay, maybe you don't want to do the classic Hawkeye costume from the comics, but I mean, come on. His modern day costume is literally just a black t-shirt with a purple insignia on it, and it looks 1,000 times better than what we've seen Jeremy Renner wear. Anyway, what does all of this have to do with Wonder Woman? Well, for the most part, Wonder Woman's on-screen costume is one of the better superhero costumes to be seen in the last 10-15 years. It's both modern yet timeless, retaining all of the classic elements of a traditional Wonder Woman costume while being updated to not look like a weird bathing suit that it sometimes looks like in the comics. How much of this is up to the costume design as opposed to the way Gal Gadot holds herself in the role? Sort of up for debate, but if you ask me, I think it's a nice healthy mixture of the two. Say what you will about Batman vs Superman, but they did nail the look of the DC Trinity on screen. It's just a shame that the overall movie has such a dark, desaturated look to it that we didn't really get to see these heroes in their full 3-color glory. I mean, that's not the only shame with Batman vs Superman, but credit where credit is due. The costumes looked good. Now, the Wonder Woman solo film and Justice League basically used the same exact outfit from Batman vs Superman. They just upped the color saturation so we can actually see it in its red, gold, and blue design. And this more armored looking outfit makes a lot more sense for an Amazon warrior ready to do battle at any time than some of the previous attempts of trying to translate Wonder Woman into a live action setting. In fact, this design for Wonder Woman has basically just become her default costume in the comics. Now, most of the time when they redesign a character's costume, it sort of gets over-designed and looks weird, but this doesn't. It just looks like a natural evolution of Wonder Woman as a character. And of course, this costume is returning in Wonder Woman 1984. And judging from the big 80s aesthetic that Patty Jenkins and crew are plastering all over this film, it looks like it's gonna get another bump in color saturation, being even more red, gold, and blue than before. But it's not the only costume Wonder Woman is gonna wear in Wonder Woman 1984. One of the very first pieces of promotional material we saw for this film was of Diana wearing a completely different costume, a full bodysuit seemingly made out of gold. It's kind of striking because by this point we all know what Wonder Woman looks like. She looks like this, and the first few movies gave us pretty much exactly this. Now all of a sudden she's wearing a completely different costume that, yes, still kind of looks like something Wonder Woman would wear, but doesn't fall in line with the traditional red, gold, and blue outfit. Now, some fans who do read comics did have a theory as to what this could be, and upon seeing the first trailer, we all pretty much had that theory confirmed. This golden costume is in fact the Golden Eagle armor. Per the DC database, which is basically DC's answer to Wikipedia, the gold armor is a ceremonial battle armor created by Palace and gifted to Wonder Woman. She donned it whenever she needed to face a powerful villain like Devastation or Imperex. Also, there are silver and bronze variants worn by Donna Troy and Cassie Sandsmark. That's neat. This armor debuted in the 1996 Mark Waid and Alex Ross classic, Kingdom Come. Wonder Woman wears it during the climactic battle against all the metahumans who have escaped from the gulag that the superheroes had put them in. She even fights Batman in it. This costume became instantly iconic and synonymous with the character of Wonder Woman. It's powerful, imposing, and striking, and it doesn't really look like a weird 90s action figure accessory. It looks like something Wonder Woman would actually wear if she needed extra protection. It eventually made its way over to the main DC Universe timeline 3 years later, but it was used very sparingly, and once the New 52 happened, it pretty much disappeared from existence. I guess everybody thought this would be better battle armor for Wonder Woman. It's not. But it looks like the Golden Eagle armor is going to make its full return in the new movie, and it looks like it's going to be one of the main selling points for the new movie. Pretty much all the promotional material of Wonder Woman from Wonder Woman 1984 is of her wearing the Golden Eagle armor. Sometimes it's just a bodysuit with no helmet and wings. Sometimes it's the full shebang. Hell, McFarlane Toys, which are doing DC action figures now, and that's baffling if you think about it for a second, they have Wonder Woman action figures coming out, and the two they have, they're both of Wonder Woman, and one of them is of the Golden Eagle armor, and it looks really good. Too bad it's not up for pre-order anymore. It was, but somehow that disappeared from Amazon. And I'm not spending more than 20 bucks on it because that's insane. And you know something? If they wanted people to know that Wonder Woman is gonna have a new costume for this movie, then they did a damn good job of making sure that it's a damn good looking costume. This new costume, the Golden Eagle costume from the movies, fits into the world that Patty Jenkins has created for Wonder Woman in cinema. Much like the comic book version, it looks like a natural evolution of what Wonder Woman typically wears. To me, it looks best with the helmet and the wings. Without it, it looks like a gold bodysuit, which is fine. It looks very good, but the whole thing just really sells it. The helmet and wings give it a recognizable look even in silhouette, much like how Batman's ears and scalloped cape give him an instantly recognizable silhouette. This armor does that for Wonder Woman. Now, the trailer does make it look like this is going to be Diana's final form, the final piece of armor that she wears to fight Maxwell Lord in the climax of the film. Kind of like the ice suits from Batman and Robin. Weird reference, I know, but it kind of works here. But because the entire marketing push is around the Golden Eagle armor, it makes me think that she's going to be wearing it for a large portion of the film, maybe up to half of the runtime. Now, yeah, they did show Batman's anti-Superman armor in the promotional material for Batman vs Superman, but it was nowhere near as omnipresent as the Golden Eagle armor is for Wonder Woman 1984. They still mostly use Batman in the regular Batsuit when promoting BVS. They even had posters of him fighting Superman in his regular outfit, like that's gonna work. But yeah, by that token, it makes sense that Batman would wear special armor in order to fight Superman. He kind of would need it to give him any sort of an advantage. In Wonder Woman 1984, her two main antagonists are Maxwell Lord, who is a regular human who can be defeated by regular human means, and Cheetah, who in the comics, Wonder Woman often fights just in her regular battle armor, no Golden Eagle armor required. So yeah, this kind of seems like overkill for this movie. Again, in the comics, Wonder Woman would only bust out the Golden Eagle armor when absolutely necessary, whenever she needed extra power or protection against who she was fighting. So this is leading me to believe that aside from Maxwell Lord and Cheetah, there's a third secret villain that we haven't seen yet, but one who's powerful enough to necessitate Diana upgrading to the Golden Eagle armor in order to fight them. Like, maybe Ares is back. He wasn't really used to his full potential in the first Wonder Woman movie. He kind of just showed up at the end and had bad character design. So maybe this is an opportunity for him to come back and finally get a proper battle against Wonder Woman. I mean, after all, Maxwell Lord has to be getting this power to grant people whatever they want from someone. Why not have it be Ares? Or maybe it's a completely different character. Maybe it's the Sorceress Circe or Dr. Psycho. Or maybe it's something else entirely and Maxwell Lord goes Super Saiyan at the end, forcing Diana to don the armor and fight him in a fair fight. No, Maxwell Lord doesn't typically go Super Saiyan or turn into a big ass monster or whatever in the comics, but it's nothing saying that he can't for this movie. Man, it really does suck that this movie got delayed until August, and it especially sucks that it got delayed while we're all stuck inside with nothing to do. It pretty much just leaves you with your own mind to sort of just speculate on what this movie could possibly be. But that doesn't mean my enthusiasm for this movie has waned in the slightest. Wonder Woman 1984 is still my most anticipated film of the year, and this time being locked inside has only made me excited for it even more. I'm trying not to go too crazy with speculation, because if I start thinking something is going to be in the movie and it's not, that can lead to disappointment, and that's never a good thing. But I am looking forward to seeing what crazy things are going to happen in Wonder Woman 1984, and maybe they will match up with my own weird ass opinions on what should happen. I don't know. But regardless, this still looks like it's going to be an excellent film, and part of that is because they are embracing some of the wider aspects of the Wonder Woman mythology, including weird stuff like the Golden Eagle armor. Yes, it looks silly. Yes, it looks ridiculous. Yes, it doesn't fit into the more serious tone of the DC films, or at least the Snyderverse films. But you know what? I don't care. It looks awesome, and I can't wait to see it in all of its big screen glory. Bring it on. Please come here soon, August, and please let me be able to leave the house by then. Anyway, what do you think about Wonder Woman's new Golden Eagle armor? Do you think it looks rad as hell, or do you think it looks totally lame? Let me know down below or anywhere on the internet. I think the action figure for this is going to come out in May. If pre-orders get sorted out, I will definitely be getting my hands on one of these, because, I mean, come on. Why wouldn't you want Wonder Woman flying around in her Golden Eagle armor just somewhere in your house? It'll look nice. It could even be a great Christmas tree topper. If you want to see Wonder Woman in her Golden Eagle armor, I will have Amazon affiliate links in the description below to some comics where she does in fact wear it. It looks good on page, and it looks like it's going to be just as good on the screen. And don't forget that we have new videos on this channel every single Tuesday and Wednesday, with Wednesday night at 8 p.m. Eastern being Wulff Den Live. So subscribe to see all of that, like this video, and share it with a friend who also really wants to ride the lightning in August. Did you really think I would go a whole video about Wonder Woman 1984 and not reference the coolest thing I've ever seen in a superhero film? Yeah, I know the movie's not out yet, but I mean, come on. She rides the lightning. Thank you all for watching, and I will see you next time. Wash your hands.